Norway country is a beautiful nature, impressive mountains and spectacular fjords, a place to have a mind-blowing experience. In this episode I will show you how to find affordable accommodation and tasty good food on a budget. Trusting Google Maps blindly is not always the way to go. And of course Norwegian fjords, landscapes and urban life. Let's go! We cross all of the Finland and small piece of northern Norway, and we got here Nordkapp, the northern part of Europe, not counting Iceland and Svalbard. To be honest with you, it was a mind-blowing transition of surroundings, because 2 days ago what we were seeing was casual nature, casual architecture and all the things looking usual to us. And now huge hills and mountains with reindeers and no trees. And of course the fact that somewhere there is nothing, only ice, and on the other side probably Canada. Okay, so this is the northest point. Yes, northern, maybe this globe where we're going to. After Nordkapp, our next goal in Norway was Galdhøpiggen mountain. We made a couple of stops, which were Halti and Kebnekaise mountains. Then we crossed half of Sweden to avoid paying for Norwegian toll roads. Then we crossed borders back to Norway. It's our probably the third time when we are crossing the borders, and this time was more police in the southern border to check. Yeah, but we noticed that those who are not vaccinated staying there for antibody check, but as we are vaccinated and have the needed papers, they check them and they let us go. Well, pretty quick. Yeah, it was pretty quick. And basically now we're enjoying the views. As always, like Norway, it's like whatever which border you're gonna cross, there always will be nice landscape. Yeah. And our last stop before Galdhøpiggen was a city in central Norway, Trondheim. City by itself looks really cool, really warm. We read the fact that here living 40,000 students, what is explains that this town is full of young people. And architecture, yeah, just watch it. I guess the river not the cleanest one, it's a little bit dirty, but it would be nice to have property here.
And it was previously a capital of Norway.
Oh yeah, that's also a really important fact, I believe. What was really noticeable crossing the borders is the number of electric vehicles on the road. It looked like every second car was electric. For fun, we decided to make a picture of each EV, but in the end of the day, we got tired because there were too many of them. After tasting Scandinavian mountains, we were ready to climb Galdhøpiggen. There are few ways on how one can climb the summit. We choose something a bit different this time. So contrast to being here in Galdhøpiggen, it's like you're down there. And typical Norway summer, a lot of trees and green color, and when you come in here, a lot of snow, and winter is here. It's like you're crossing from one season to another direct, without autumn or spring. Okay, so we drove to about 1.8 kilometers high by car to Juvaskytta Lodge, which is starting point for a group of tours. To minimize the risk of injuries or worse, like death, we joined the forming group lead by local guidance. Our path included crossing the slowly melting glacier Stigebren. We were given harnesses which were distributed and adjusted for safety, and we begin the climb. Yeah, it's really windy here. It wasn't easy, at the same time it wasn't hard either. Our guides were two experienced dudes who climbed almost their entire lives. They know the way up Galdhøpiggen mountain well enough, and when there is nothing visible like in our case. What kind of motivation is waiting when you're going up? When we reached the top, we saw a hut, and once entered inside there was a store full of snacks and drinks, cozy place to rest and prepare for a trip back. And yeah, beautiful landscape, well, not in our case.
Station. Reality.
But in any way, we did it, submitted the highest point in Norway. So we got back on the road, and our goal now is Bergen. Actually, roads in Norway need separate video, I believe, because they are unbelievable. And I'm not talking about the road quality, what also is amazing, but the view which you can see the crossing the country. Traveling around Norway was such a meditative and extraordinary experience. Nature is so calm and inviting. When you see all these landmarks, you understand why Norwegians are one of the happiest people in the world. And honestly, I don't have words to describe this beauty, and it's not because my English is bad, it's because I just look at this.
So truck driver mode on. Yesterday we made 700 more kilometers in direction to the south, and once again we're sleeping in a car. The most fucked up part is that all the area where we're going is raining, so hope the weather gonna change, and it's nice and good to have a long sleep rest after so much of hiking. But the best part in all this hiking, that for sure I will remember Kebnekaise mountain, for sure.
And you know what else is amazing about traveling by car in Norway? Yes, exactly, mornings. Traveling around we saw a lot of campers, and it seems that there were some people traveling on the same budget as we did, and for two reasons, I guess. View through the window of your bedroom and free accommodation.
Just wake up, stopped at midnight somewhere on the midway. Because we need to sleep. I was already driving and almost sleeping. So we stopped here in the middle of nowhere. They have plenty of this kind of stops on the way, so it wasn't a big problem. Full of energy and good mood. And of course still a little bit tired, but the sleep was really necessary and really good.
Probably most of you know that Norway is not a cheap country, and it makes sense for Norwegians because the average salary here after tax in a month is 32,000 Norwegian kronas, which is 3,000 euros. This is the reason why prices here are higher than everywhere else. For example, in Lithuania, the country where I came from, average salary is 1,000 euros. The easiest way to show you how different prices are here is that by Big Mac index. In Lithuania, the price of Big Mac is 3 euros at the same time when here is almost 7 euros. twice as more. For fuel price in Norway was €1.07, and at the time in Lithuania we had only €1 per liter. To be honest, this is what we did not expect from oil exporting country. Now it makes sense why Norwegians drive electric cars. Almost no taxes, cheap electricity, and the government even provides subsidies for buying an electric vehicle.
How breakfast in Norway looks like.
Since prices here are high, to save money we were cooking by ourselves, and I have to admit Norwegians love fish. Just look at this, in supermarkets easily you can find fish balls, fish soup, fish snacks, frozen fish and many other dishes. Since we had a gas balloon for cooking, we were always eating warm food. Everywhere where we want the beautiful views of fjords, mountains, lakes and other natural beauty. Bergen is Norwegian's second biggest city, which we visited during our trip, and what can I say about it? Well, it has nice downtown, for example these colorful beautiful houses called Bergen. It belongs to UNESCO World Heritage Site, which was established before 1070s AD in the Middle Ages. A lovely cityscape which you can get for free by stairs and food, and yes, no drone flight is needed to enjoy the view. And what else? We just walk around it and chilled in the city with around 285,000 inhabitants in municipality. It would be enough to spend about half a day in Bergen to hang around, rest and have some coffee. We spent some nice relaxing time, but it was time to jump back on the road to Oslo. I want to add an important detail if you are planning travel around Norway. When your navigator tells you the estimated time of arrival, always add extra several hours, because there are not so many direct ways as in most European countries. Mountains and cliffs make driving more complicated, and this is not calculated right away when the navigator tells you expect arrival time. To solve this problem, Norwegian builds as many tunnels as they can, and yes, these tunnels are really impressive. For example, this one is 25 kilometers long. Navigator showed us 3 hours way to Oslo from Bergen, but in the end we ended up getting there 6 hours later.
I'ma make you mine tonight, pulling your hair, baby. I'ma make you mine tonight, I feel you breathing.
When we arrived, I searched for a panoramic place near the park and we found a golden spot, parked there and went to sleep. Early in the morning we ate another tasty breakfast, which was porridge with a view. One of Oslo urban districts, found a metro station and went to explore. So for 2 adults you should install application. For 2 adults you're gonna pay €7. Oh, this is our train. Oslo is not a big city, but still it has a metro. Metropolitan area has population of 1.6 million inhabitants. And our starting point was Royal Palace, where is the official seat of King Harald V and Queen Sonja. Yep, Norway is a kingdom like many other European countries. Sadly, the neoclassical place was under reconstruction, but it was fine to take several photos with it. Lovely city, have some minuses, but basically it's really for us like Vilnius citizens who lives in city where is 500,000 people, and Oslo is like 700,000, and they have a subway. And definitely I see benefits of infrastructure and transportation. It's like 12, and now in Vilnius it's traffic. It's a lot of like traffic we have for sure. Even in a sunny Tuesday. Today we have Tuesday, right? Wednesday day. And here no traffic at all. People chilly using subway. Well, I wish in my country would be government more smarter and use some ideas from Scandinavians. Our next destination was Brygge, next to Oslo City Hall. It is stylish harbour with shops and drinking places. Then we walk around Akershus Fortress, raised by Hakon V at the end of the 30th century. In the 80th and 90th century, the fortress was a prison, and now it is a museum and a place to hang out. Then we visited a popular building made in Scandinavian minimalistic style, which is Oslo Opera House, and Dichman Bjørvik, which is middle of August and people are studying, reading stuff here. And the vibe of library motivates you to take a book and read something, learn something, because everyone here are focused so much on. Walking in Oslo, we understood that a few hours is enough to visit, let's say, basic stuff. So that is basically all for this episode. Norway is definitely a country to which each traveler has to get back. It was an extraordinary experience journeying all across the country. And yeah, it is expensive, but nature is free. And you know what? It is the main reason why each traveler has to visit it.